Picture this. You have been planning your dream cruise for months. You arrive at the terminal, bags packed, excitement building, ready for the vacation of a lifetime. Then security pulls you aside. They open your suitcase, and just like that, your carefully packed belongings are confiscated. You are delayed for an hour, and your vacation starts with frustration and embarrassment. All because of one item you had no idea was banned. Here is the thing. Cruise ship prohibited item lists have changed dramatically heading into 2026, and what was perfectly fine a few years ago might now get flagged, seized, or worse, get you denied boarding entirely. Most passengers have no clue about these updates until it is too late. They pack the same way they have always packed, assuming the rules have not changed. But cruise lines are constantly updating their policies based on new safety data and international regulations. So today, we are breaking down 12 prohibited items that catch travelers off guard every single embarkation day. Some of these will genuinely surprise you. A few might even be sitting in your suitcase right now as you watch this. And stick around for number 7, because it is the innocent-looking item that gets confiscated more than almost anything else. And it is probably something you have packed a dozen times before without thinking twice. Let us dive in. Number 1. Power strips and extension cords. This is the most common confiscation at cruise ship security, and it catches thousands of passengers every single sailing. You are thinking ahead, right? Cruise cabins notoriously have only 2 outlets, sometimes hidden behind furniture or jammed in awkward locations near the floor. And you have phones, tablets, cameras, smartwatches, and maybe a CPAP machine to charge. So you toss in your trusty power strip from home, thinking you have outsmarted the limited outlet situation. Big mistake. Almost every major cruise line bans power strips with surge protectors because they are considered fire hazards on ships. The electrical systems on cruise vessels are completely different from your home wiring, and surge protectors can actually cause shorts, sparks, or overloads in the ship's carefully balanced power grid. Security will pull it right out of your bag before you even make it to the gangway, and you will be left figuring out how to charge everything with 2 outlets all week. Here is the pro move. What you can bring is a USB charging hub with no surge protection and no AC outlets. These are completely cruise legal and let you charge 4, 5, or even 6 devices from a single USB port. Some experienced cruisers also bring a simple outlet splitter that turns one outlet into 2 or 3 with no surge protection built in. Check your cruise line's specific policy before you pack, but this simple swap saves you the confiscation headache and solves your charging problem completely. Number 2. Clothing irons and steamers. You want to look sharp for formal night, and maybe you have a linen suit that wrinkles just from looking at it. So you pack your travel iron or a handheld steamer. Here is the reality. These items are banned on virtually every cruise ship, and they will be confiscated on site. Irons and steamers are serious fire hazards in the confined space of a cruise cabin. One forgetful moment, one item left face down on fabric, and you have a potential disaster at sea. But here is what experienced cruisers know, and the alternatives are simple. Every ship has a self-service laundry room with irons available, usually free to use. Even better, your cabin steward can press items for you, often for just a few dollars per garment. Some passengers also swear by packing wrinkle release spray and hanging clothes in the bathroom during a hot shower. The steam works wonders, and you do not need banned appliances. Number 3. Candles and incense. This one seems obvious once you think about it, but you would be amazed how often it comes up at security checkpoints. Maybe you love the ambiance of a flickering candle in the evening after a long day exploring ports. Maybe you use incense for meditation, relaxation, or religious practice, and it is part of your daily routine. Maybe you just want your cabin to smell nice after a few days at sea with the balcony closed. None of it matters to security. Open flames of any kind are strictly prohibited on cruise ships. No exceptions and no appeals. This includes traditional candles, tea lights, birthday candles for celebrations, incense sticks, incense cones, sage bundles, and anything else that requires a match or lighter to operate. The fire risk in an enclosed ship environment with thousands of passengers and limited emergency response options is simply too great for any cruise line to accept. If ambiance is important to you, pack battery-operated LED candles, or bring a small aromatherapy diffuser that uses water and essential oils with no flame required. Some passengers bring scented sachets for their drawers and luggage. Your cabin can smell fantastic without creating a floating fire hazard. Number 4. Drones. You might want those incredible aerial shots of the ship pulling into a tropical port. You have seen the stunning footage online, and you want to capture your own. So you pack your drone, thinking you will launch it from your balcony. That is a guaranteed confiscation. Drones are banned on virtually every major cruise line, without exception. You cannot fly them from the ship. You cannot fly them in most ports, and in many cases, you cannot even bring them on board. The reasons are extensive. There are safety concerns with spinning blades near thousands of passengers. There are privacy issues, with cameras flying near balconies. There is potential interference with ship navigation systems. And there are legal restrictions that vary by country at every port you visit. Even if you only plan to use a drone during a shore excursion, many ports have their own drone restrictions. They may require permits, or they may ban recreational use entirely. Number 5. Martial arts equipment and sporting weapons. You practice martial arts at home and you do not want to miss a week of training. So you pack your nunchucks, your practice sword, or your bow staff. Here is the problem. Anything that could be classified as a weapon is prohibited, even if its intended use is purely athletic. This includes martial arts weapons of all kinds: baseball bats, bows and arrows, spear guns, and even some types of sporting equipment that could cause harm if misused. Cruise ship security operates with an abundance of caution. They are not going to evaluate your credentials or take your word that the sword is just for practice. If it looks like it could hurt someone, it is getting confiscated. The same applies to realistic replica weapons and prop weapons from costumes. Number 6. Certain medical equipment without documentation. This one is critical. Many passengers travel with medical devices like CPAP machines, oxygen concentrators, nebulizers, or mobility scooters. These devices are allowed on cruise ships, but this is where people run into trouble. Without proper documentation, your equipment could be flagged, delayed, or denied boarding. Cruise lines need advance notice for most medical equipment. Oxygen concentrators require specific approval. Mobility scooters need to be registered. A pro move is to contact your cruise line accessibility department at least 30 days before sailing. Provide documentation from your physician. Get written confirmation that your equipment is approved and bring copies to the terminal. Do not assume that because you need the equipment medically, it will automatically be allowed without question. Number 7, and this is the big one: prohibited over-the-counter medications. This is the item that shocks passengers more than almost anything else on this entire list. You pack your medicine bag with all your essentials. Things you bought legally at your local pharmacy. Items you have traveled with domestically 100 times without any issue whatsoever. And then security pulls out that innocent-looking bottle and tells you it is not allowed on board. How is that even possible? Here is what most travelers simply do not understand, and it is critical information. Medication laws vary dramatically by country, and a cruise ship visits multiple countries with completely different pharmaceutical regulations. What is perfectly legal over-the-counter in one nation might be a controlled or even banned substance somewhere else on your itinerary. Certain sleep aids, some cold and flu medications containing specific decongestant ingredients, particular pain relievers, and even some common anti-diarrheal medicines face restrictions in various countries. If your cruise visits ports where these items are controlled, you could face confiscation, or much worse, legal issues when you go ashore for excursions. The solution is straightforward, but requires a bit of effort. Research medication import rules for every country on your itinerary before you pack. Keep all medications in their original pharmacy packaging, with labels clearly showing your name and the prescription information. Bring a letter from your doctor for any prescription medications listing your name, the medication, and the medical necessity. When in doubt about anything, contact the cruise line directly and ask. This 10 minutes of research could genuinely save you from an international incident that derails your entire vacation. If you are finding this valuable, take a second to hit that like button. It helps more cruisers find this information before they make these mistakes. Now let us continue. Number 8. Walkie-talkies and two-way radios. Traveling with family or a group. You might think walkie-talkies are the perfect solution for staying connected on a massive ship without paying for Wi-Fi. Seems brilliant, right? Not so fast. Many cruise lines restrict or ban personal two-way radios because they can interfere with ship communication systems and emergency frequencies. The bridge crew uses specific radio channels for navigation and safety. A cabin full of kids playing with walkie-talkies on overlapping frequencies is not just annoying, it's potentially dangerous. Most cruise apps now include free ship-to-ship messaging that works over the onboard network. You can text your travel companions anywhere on the ship without buying a full internet package. Problem solved, no contraband required. Number 9. Handcuffs and restraints. This one makes security officers roll their eyes every single sailing. Yes, some passengers pack these items for personal reasons, but no, you cannot bring them on board. Handcuffs, zip ties, rope restraints, and similar items are classified as potential security threats, and they will be confiscated. It does not matter what your intended use is. Any item that could theoretically be used to restrain another person is prohibited. Full stop. This rule also covers certain costume accessories that look like restraints. If you are packing for a themed costume night, choose your accessories carefully. Number 10. Personal watercraft and motorized equipment. You see that beautiful ocean, and you want to enjoy it on your own terms. Maybe you are thinking about packing an inflatable kayak or paddleboard. Here is the nuance. Small inflatables for personal beach use are generally fine, but anything motorized and certain oversized items may be prohibited. The real issue is anything that could be launched from the ship. Cruise lines prohibit personal watercraft operations entirely. The bigger practical problem is that large inflatables take up enormous suitcase space, and they may get damaged in handling. Most ports have rental equipment available for far less hassle. If water sports are your priority, book excursions through reputable operators at each port. Number 11. CBD products and cannabis. This confuses passengers more than almost any other item on this list, especially travelers from states or countries where cannabis is now fully legal for recreational or medical use. Here is the reality check that could genuinely save your vacation. It does not matter if cannabis is completely legal in your home state. It does not matter if you have a valid medical marijuana card issued by a licensed physician. It does not matter if it is just CBD oil marketed as containing 0 THC. Cruise ships operate under federal and international maritime law, and cannabis in all forms remains prohibited in these jurisdictions, regardless of what is happening with legalization on land. Getting caught can result in immediate confiscation. You can be denied boarding before the ship even leaves the dock. You can be removed from the ship at the next available port at your own expense, and in some cases, you can face arrest and criminal charges depending on where the ship is located when the discovery is made. Even CBD products that are technically legal in many places create serious problems because security cannot easily verify THC content during screening, and many port countries have extremely strict cannabis laws that apply the moment you step off the gangway for an excursion. The advice here is simple, absolute, and non-negotiable. Leave all cannabis and CBD products at home, regardless of their legal status where you live. 1 week without these products is far better than the potential consequences of bringing them aboard. Number 12. Alcohol beyond the allowed limit. This is where most passengers technically know the rule but try to push their luck anyway, treating it like a game they can win. Nearly every cruise line allows you to bring a limited amount of alcohol on board, typically 1 or 2 bottles of wine or champagne per adult in your carry-on luggage. But every single sailing, without fail, people try to sneak in more. Rum runners carefully hidden in shampoo bottles, vodka meticulously transferred into water bottles, wine bladders tucked into suitcase linings between layers of clothing, flasks concealed in creative locations throughout their luggage. Here is what you absolutely need to understand. Cruise ship security has seen every trick in the book, and they are genuinely not impressed by your creativity. They have been doing this for years. They have X-ray machines specifically calibrated to detect liquid densities that do not match their containers. They open suspicious items routinely. They know exactly what rum runners look like on a scanner. Get caught, and you lose the alcohol entirely, with no refund and no return at the end of the cruise. Some cruise lines will hold excess alcohol that is properly declared and return it on the final night, but others simply confiscate it permanently. Repeated attempts or aggressive concealment efforts can flag you as a problem passenger before your vacation even begins, which is absolutely not how you want to start your relationship with the crew who will be serving you all week. The pro move is to simply play by the rules. Bring your allowed bottles in your carry-on, declare them honestly, and enjoy them in your cabin throughout the voyage. If you want more alcohol than that, buy a drink package during booking or purchase bottles from the ship at port prices. Trying to outsmart security saves you $50 at most and risks your entire vacation reputation. And there you have it, 12 items that catch passengers off guard every single day. Now you know what to avoid. Have you ever had something confiscated that surprised you? Drop it in the comments. If this helped, hit subscribe for more insider cruise tips. Until next time, happy sailing.